Section 7, Narcissus arranges the assassination of Messalina. Claudius's silence amid these events was surprising. He obeyed the freedman in every respect. Narcissus prepared a meeting of the soldiers in the camp. In their presence, after a previous warning by Narcissus, the emperor spoke a few words. Then there arose continuous shouting of the soldiers, demanding the names of the guilty and punishments. Silius, brought into the tribunal, did not attempt a defence or delaying tactics, but begged that he might be killed quickly. Meanwhile, Messalina prolonged her life in the gardens of Lucullus, composed a petition with some hope and anger. Even then, she displayed such great pride. And if Narcissus had not hastened her slaughter, destruction would have turned onto the accuser. Now, this section is much about Narcissus as it is about Messalina. Tacitus is going to draw out the chilling contrast between Claudius's passivity and the freedman's ruthless initiative. He opens with quite a striking phrase, mirum inter haec silentium Claudii. The word mirum, placed first, immediately grabs our attention. It was remarkable, almost unnatural, right, this silence of Claudius. And he draws on to that a bit more with the enclosing word order that's happening. Okay, so mirum and Claudii enclosing this phrase down here. It's as if Tacitus wraps Claudius in silence, showing his detachment or helplessness. Then he follows with quite a damning comment, with omnia liberto oboediebat. Okay. He was obeying the freedman in all things. Now notice the word liberto, rather than his actual name, Narcissus. This choice draws our attention to the imbalance of power. A freedman, once a slave, now commands the emperor. The language undercuts Claudius's authority. But then Tacitus shows Narcissus taking decisive action. Qui contionem militum in castris paravit. Okay, he organises a speech to soldiers, a contionem. Okay, in the camp, quite a highly charged setting for military loyalty and discipline. Narcissus has taken on the role of a general, directing events in place of Claudius himself. Now, as emperor, it should really be Claudius who is in charge of all the soldiers and the armies, but actually it's this freedman who's taken that position on instead. And then even when Claudius finally speaks, it's Narcissus who does the preparation beforehand. Okay, he has given a praemonente, right, a pre-warning or a forewarning or a briefing. The prefix prae meaning before, and then when it's paired with the alliteration of p, so praemonenti narcisso princeps pauca verba fecit, it mimics the sort of halting speech of Claudius himself. Perhaps it even hints at Claudius's well-known stammer. So Tacitus is mocking the emperor's physical weaknesses here as well. Then comes the soldiers' response. They give a continuous clamour. Right, these two words here. A continuous shout. The military responds with ferocity, shouting out the names of the guilty and demanding punishment. But the contrast is powerful. Claudius had been silent, but the army is united in quite vocal condemnation. It's their anger that fills the void left by the emperor's inaction. Then we move quickly to Silius, okay, and the fate of Silius. Now look at what we have here. We are looking at this sentence here. Look how quickly it's over for Silius. Okay, we've had this long dramatic build-up, and then Tacitus quickly skims over what happens to Silius, almost as if he isn't the focus of this story. Right, it's Messalina. Now, what does Silius do? Well, he doesn't really try and explain himself. He gives non defensionem, non moras. Look at the anaphora of non here, right? The repetition. There's no conjunction, so asyndeton. Okay, there's no et in the middle to give the impression of of speed, almost inevitability for Silas here. He knows it's over. There's no trial, no speech. He only asks for one thing, right? That his death is a quick one. It's quite a chilling, calm request, so that then we can get back onto the real focus, which is Messalina. Now, she's still in the Gardens of Lucullus. She's still alive. Tacitus uses some historic infinitives. Okay, same idea, making it feel vivid, like we're there now. It suggests a sort of ongoing frantic activity, right? She prolongs, she composes. It stretches out her final hours, composing her pleas, desperately clinging on to life. And then we get a sort of a look into her complex emotional state. Non nulla spe et ira. Right, this bit down here, with a mixture of hope and anger. Now, this tacking on at the end of the sentence of conflicting emotions is quite telling. It reveals the confusion of Messalina's mind. There's still a trace of hope for her, but also anger, fury at how far things have fallen. And then Tacitus adds justification of what's going to follow. Tantam superbiam etiam tum gerebat. It's quite loaded. Superbia, meaning pride or sort of arrogance, has a strong moral weight to it in Roman thought. Now, if you're a Roman reader looking at this text, you'd be reminded of the last king of Rome, Tarquinius Superbus, Tarquin the Proud. He was the last king of Rome, expelled, and with his expulsion brought the end of the monarchy. Tacitus is almost making a sort of moral historical argument here. Tyrannical arrogance must be eliminated, as it was with Tarquinius Superbus, but now, crucially, with Messalina. Okay? And then the final sentence that we have captures the climax. If Narcissus hadn't hurried along the killing of them, disaster would have turned upon him himself. Okay? Look at the structure that we're given. Narcissus properaviset, vertiset pernicies. We've got a chiasmus. So subject, verb, verb, subject. The inversion of this grammar reflects the precariousness of the moment. Messalina, despite everything, might still have turned Claudius, right? She might still have convinced him that she's not really done that much wrong. And then Narcissus himself would have been destroyed. And we get that finally with the last word in the sentence, right down here. Accusatorem, referring to the accuser, okay, Narcissus. It's Narcissus, but Tacitus keeps the name hidden, distancing him slightly, perhaps even hinting that despite his control, his position is still dangerous. Okay, things might still not be right for him. So in this final section then, Tacitus brings all his tools into bear, right? We get quite a bitter commentary on the collapse of imperial authority. Silius has gone, it's not looking great for Messalina, but Claudius rather hasn't triumphed. The real power lies with Narcissus, and the emperor remains a silent figurehead in his own right.